Hi, Patrice. How are you?
Hi, Vanessa. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So happy Monday. Welcome to State of Play with NAACP. If you wouldn't mind, could you please tell the people, the good people, who you are and what you do here?
Well, hey, everybody. I'm Patrice Willoughby. I'm the Chief of Policy and Legislative Affairs at the NAACP. And that means that I work with Congress and external folks to work on the policies and the legislation that affect all of our lives.
Amazing stuff. And so you are the perfect person to talk to about what in the world is going on in Washington today. We have just come out of election week where we saw, tons of people come out and make their votes at all levels of government. And going into the week, there was no resting, right? News broke late last night that the Senate might be having a vote or reaching a vote on whether to reopen the government. As you know, this is the longest running government shutdown. Could you tell us a little bit more about what is happening right now?
Sure. So late Sunday, the Senate came to an agreement to end the government shutdown. And this is something that's affected a lot of people because it has prevented people from receiving their SNAP benefits. And the core issue is that whether or not Congress is going to include funding in the shutdown deal that would allow people to buy their health care at a reasonable cost. Healthcare costs are too high already. And, unfortunately, the majority in the Senate, and that means the Republicans, and the majority in the House, and that also means the Republicans, don't want those healthcare tax credits to be included in a funding deal. And so that's really what the holdup has been about for about 5 weeks now.
Yeah, and so it seems like this is step one towards perhaps reopening the government, but we're not totally sure if this is good news, right? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, I think that a lot of members of the Senate have been hearing from constituents, but the fact is that this is a matter of priority, and the deal that's been agreed to does not include those health care tax credits. The deal that they have is to have a number of appropriations bills, that's the annual funding bills that fund the government, to agree to SNAP payments to go forward and to bring federal government workers back to work. But there is a side agreement to bring up the healthcare vote in mid December. And there are a lot of problems with that. First of all, that would require 60 members of the Senate to vote for it. And then it would need to go over to the House of Representatives where they vote on it. And the Speaker of the House, that's the leadership of the majority, has said that they have no interest in bringing up that bill for a vote. And so essentially, that means that healthcare is dead in the water right now, which is not in the interest of the American people.
Yes, it's absolutely not in the interest, and we already know that healthcare costs are high. We are facing, inflation. We talked about that on the first episode. And so what now? Like what can we really do? How should, anyone watching this proceed? What should we be paying attention to?
Well, we're expecting that there's going to be a vote on the legislation in the Senate within the next few days. So I think first and foremost, it's important for people to weigh in with their senators and let them know that the American people, you want to have reasonable health care coverage. That's number one. The second thing is that everyone has a member of Congress and they need to weigh in with them as well. Speaker Mike Johnson has said that they're not interested in bringing up that vote, but they will continue to have that position unless the American people make their wishes known. And as we saw in the election results from last week, the American people and Congress are in different places right now in terms of what they want. And I think that the majority in both the House and the Senate, they're giving a lot of sway to the administration where they really should be listening to their constituents most. So the voices of people are really important in letting your representatives know and your senators know what it is that you want. And that is for Congress to focus on affordable health care, ensure that people have access to food and nutrition, and to stop playing politics.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, I have one more question. So we're talking about, affordable healthcare right now. And like you mentioned, we just had an election where it kind of seemed like the American people and the people in Washington are just on two different sides. Who would be most affected with increases to healthcare premiums?
Oh, well, it's going to be about 41 million people that get their health care from the Affordable Care Act. But I think that there's a larger issue here in that the way that food assistance and healthcare are often portrayed is that it is a minority issue. This affects everyone in the United States. There are actually more white people than black people that get SNAP benefits, right? So when you hear mis and disinformation, when you hear that these programs are framed in racial terms, that's really not good information because healthcare costs and food assistance affect everyone. And everyone deserves for their senators and their representatives to pay attention and to work on behalf of the American people.
Absolutely. 41 million people is a lot of people. So if you're watching this right now, whether you receive SNAP benefits, whether you work for the government, whether you get your healthcare from the ACA plans, it's going to affect you in one way, shape, or form. So it's very important that we pay attention to what's going on. As Patrice said, we go and we contact our elected officials, whether we voted for them or not. We have to let them know where we stand on this and that the American people have, quite frankly, suffered enough. And we need to be able to afford life as we know it, whether that be food, whether that be healthcare. Thank you so much, Patrice, for talking to us today. Is there any final words you want to leave with the people? Where can we find you? How do we get more information?
Well, what we want people to do is to become NAACP members because, we put out information all the time and we have webinars to let people know what's going on in Washington, D.C. and also around the country. Remember, this is your tax dollars at work. You have a vested interest in what government does, and we want to work with everyone to get the word out so that you can be more effective to deliver what's important for you in your community.
Thank you. We'll catch you next time, Patrice.
See you next time. Thanks.